Okay. All right. So this is the moment. Wait, actually, let's just wait. Apparently, we're supposed to like keep quiet for like 2 seconds. And then clap. And then now officially there's like a syncing moment happening with the video and audio. Apparently that's the way it's supposed to work.
Yeah, you sound better already.
Huh?
You sound better.
Hell yeah. In what way?
You were quiet.
And now I have voice.
No, I was just making a joke that you sound better when you're quiet.
Oh, it's oh my god.
Sorry.
The podcast is officially begun. Oh my god, wait, we got music. Just feel like you're in a podcast right now?
Where did this music come from?
It just came out of nowhere. The machine has music.
It is actually good.
It's cool. And then guess what? And welcome back to the first episode of the Jacob Podcast.
That wasn't very smooth.
Wait.
I'm pretty sure I could do that better.
Okay, try doing it.
Welcome back. We're at the Jacob Podcast. Hey,
Okay. Oh, by the way, we have a name for the podcast.
It's not just the Jacob Podcast.
It's not just, but it's actually really close to the Jacob
Okay.
Podcast. We're calling it, or I've decided to call it the Jacobian Podcast.
Wow, I actually quite like that.
Do you like it? Do you know why? Why it's so cool?
Yeah, because of the Jacobian.
The Jacobian matrix.
Okay.
Do you guys know about? Do people know about the Jacobian matrix? I'm sure there's people out there who know about it.
Yeah.
A matrix of partial derivatives.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a really useful matrix. So, it seems really apt
Seems
because
fitting.
seems fitting, right? Because we want this podcast to feel
Useful
to the world out there. But yeah, this is actually my first ever podcast. I've never actually recorded a podcast. Like, all of this is new. This feels so weird. I'm like hearing my own voice, recording it. I have a guest over. I mean, she's my friend. And Olivia, do you want to introduce yourself?
My name is Olivia. I'm a third year double major in math and CS at U of A. I'm happy to be here.
Oh yeah. And my name is Jacob. As you can tell from the name of the podcast, I'm in my 4th year doing a Bachelor of Science in Math, and I'm minoring in Comp Sci. So we're in pretty similar programs, it's just that I'm minoring and you decided to take the route of double majoring in Comp Sci and Math. So and why have you decided to put yourself through that?
I feel like I started in Comp Sci and ended up liking math a lot, and that's why I just wanted to add the double major.
Okay.
Part of me has even wondered if I should do the math major and a CS minor.
Okay, so that's exciting. That's exciting. That's the kind of energy we want here, because this is a math podcast.
Okay,
it's
not a CS podcast.
It's not a CS podcast.
Oh,
We're out here trying to remind people, not to play down CS, but remind people that math exists.
Math is better.
Math is better. I mean, yeah, objectively
It's
that's true. But we gotta be quiet when we say that. Though we can't be too loud about it because people might disagree. But objectively, we're both very happy. Would you say you're really okay? Actually, you want to tell people the story of your university life, encapsulated, because is it true that you didn't start out in math or in Comp Sci first of all?
I started out my first year in university doing the BFA, which is Bachelor of Fine Arts in Painting.
What?
And yeah, art is really meaningful to me, but it just wasn't for me. I took a Stat 161, which is just intro to stats for the arts kids.
Yeah.
And I really liked it. And at the same time, my friend had started teaching me how to code. And I don't know, I just started taking more math and CS classes.
Right.
And then I just decided I wanted to switch.
So in the middle of doing all your art projects and stuff, you were also which, by the way, that takes a long time. Being in the arts degree, it takes hours being in the studio and everything, working your art projects. In the middle of all of that, you were also just taking time to learn how to code. I mean, maybe a little bit of it for the stats, but also just in general.
Not really for stats. It was basically my friend. He was like, hey, I'm studying for my 174 final.
Yeah.
And as a method of studying, I want to teach someone how to code in Python. And that was after I had handed in my final submissions for my studio classes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so then I had quite a bit of time.
Okay.
Yeah, it was just a 2-day lesson.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then in that 2-day lesson, you're like, oh my God.
It changed my whole life.
It changed your whole life. Okay. Yeah. And so then you decided, okay, I'm gonna major in computing science. Okay. And then where did math come into the picture once you started? How did math come into the picture once you started taking computing science? What was the first?
Oh, you know what? I don't even know how it came into the picture. I really liked calculus. I really liked Calc 3. And then I think I just wanted to add it.
Okay. Oh, so it was Calc 3 that was like your...
I liked Calc 3.
Yeah, you liked Calc 3. That's crazy because like I had such a, like, my experience with Calc 3 was so weird. It's like I didn't know, like I think I came to the class expecting it to feel like Calc 1 and Calc 2. But like, okay, like before we get into like we need to think about what our audience is, okay? Because like I'm trying to promote this as or I'm trying to promote this as a podcast that anybody can listen to. Because like I feel like if I started the podcast, like, this is a math podcast, math only podcast.
It's called the Jacobian. Y'all know what a Jacobian is?
Yeah.
It's matrix of partial derivatives.
And then if you do matrix of partial derivatives, and for people, and if people don't like know that immediately,
accessible.
huh?
Very accessible.
It's like doing the opposite. It's not going to feel super accessible. So like the point of the podcast is like for anybody out there who wants to learn not about the specifics of math, because we're not out here trying to like tell you about theorems specifically. Maybe we might mention it, but at least what I'm trying to bring to this podcast is to talk about the human side of math, the experience of learning math, the experience of coming across math for the first time. Where does the passion come from? Why do we appreciate the subject? And then try to just make it feel more accessible, right? And try not to, because like I feel like oftentimes, and you might correct me if I'm wrong, but like when you tell people that you're a math major, at least when I tell people I'm a math major, the first reaction is always like, oh my God, that's crazy. I hate it. I can never do it. And of course, like everybody does different things, and everybody's good at different things. That's totally fair. But whenever people used to tell me that, there was always a part of me I was like, oh my God, but like math is so different in high school compared to university. Like what you were exposed to, the way math was taught to you. Like, did you have a good math teacher? Like, did you really get a full sense of what it actually is and how beautiful it is? And then did you decide, oh my God, it's like it's horrible and not for me? Or were you just unfortunate that you didn't get an experience that focused on like sort of appreciating the math, and instead it just made you like rogue memorize a bunch of formulas and try to apply it? But yeah, what do you have to say about that?
Math isn't like other girls. Just kidding. Yeah. No, I actually really resonate with that, especially because in high school, I didn't even really care about STEM. I knew that in high school, I wanted to go into the BFA and do art. Yeah. So, like, I did Math 31 and, like, the 3 sciences, but it was just almost, like, because my sisters did it and they told me to do it. I didn't really care about it. Yeah. Yeah, and then I feel like as like I've been doing more math classes, it's become just like so interesting because I realize like the world around us is like based on math. Like everything, like all this technology works because of math, and like even like I know this is simple, but like the way that goats' horns curl. Yeah. Whoa. Right? Whoa. And how, like, people relate that to like the golden ratio and stuff. Like it's just really interesting. Oh my God, wait, that's so interesting. Yeah. Wait, I feel like I've heard that comparison, the golden ratio in general. How it pops up everywhere. How it pops up everywhere, and that's like one of the examples of, you know, when people talk about like is math discovered or invented? Like it's I think that's an interesting thing to talk about. It's something that makes you feel like it's discovered and it just exists in the universe, and math is a way of like sort of describing the language of the universe and how it communicates with us on a more profound level. Yeah. And then the experience of being in a math degree is supposed to feel like, or actually, who am I to say what it's supposed to feel like? But like, I feel like I want it to feel like us trying to explore and understand these different connections. Like actually being like, oh my God, this connection exists, and now this is the math that allows us to understand that and uncover that. And okay, and so you mentioned Calc 3. Now, Calc 3 is a special course. Calc 3 is a big deal. I feel like Calc 3 is a big deal. It is a big deal. Calc 3 is a big... No, but like, you're saying that sarcastically? No, I'm not. It's a big deal. It's because it's so dense. It's dense, but like more than... Okay, there are a lot of classes out there that are dense, but why is Calc 3 a big deal? Okay, because... And then this is how I'll describe Calc 3. Calc 1 and Calc 2 are like the math classes that everybody's supposed to do. Everybody you've met has probably, or anybody you've met who's like in the sort of science, I feel like it's unfair to say everybody's done it, but like
if there's like that one set of like required math courses to do something in the STEM world, right? It's Calc 1 and Calc 2. So in Calc 1 you do Calc 1 and Calc 2 you do different versions of just understanding derivatives and integrals and doing it for the first time, the different methods involved. Maybe you learn a little bit about how it works. But then Calc 3 is the first class where you actually understand how calculus works.
The first boss. The first
sense of this is the real math. And what is the big thing that comes out in Calc 3? It's the limits, the continuity.
Well, you do limits in Calc 1.
No, but like not really. Like you don't dive into like sequences and
I guess unless you're in engineering.
Oh, in engineering, do they do all that even earlier? I feel like it. I don't know. Like I've heard it feels more formulaic in engineering. Like no one really thinks about. Like even today, I was trying to prove whether a sequence is convergent. Oh my God, math terms. Oh my God, I wasn't supposed to say that. No, I'm kidding.
Censor it.
I have to censor. Like whenever I use convergent subsequence, I have to be like, oh my God, I'm not supposed to say that because like everybody's supposed to listen to it. I'm honestly really scared. Like whenever someone hears like
the sequence is bleep.
Like whenever someone hears a term that it's like a little bit more mathematical, a little bit more technical, they're gonna like run away and be like, oh my God, Jacob said there's gonna be no math, and then now I'm giving them math. But why did I bring that up? It was because it's the first class that makes somebody who isn't in math decide either do, oh my God, it's actually interesting, or like, oh my God, I want to run away from it.
That's a good point. I feel like for me, the reason why it's such a big deal is because they really want you to think about the problem yourself. Like they don't tell you, hey, like find the elasticity or anything. You need to like really move terms around yourself and like kind of trial and error it. Like especially with how like we were looking at whether or not the sequences were converging or not.
Yeah.
Like we had to use a bunch of different theorems, right?
And tests.
A bunch of different tools. Like what was it? Like the root test.
Yes. Oh my God. I came across that today.
Ratio whatever,
test,
etc. Like a geometric ratio, right?
Yeah.
And it wasn't always obvious.
Yeah. Oh my God. It's far from obvious. Like I look at a sequence, a function. I'm like, does it converge? Like, tell me if it does. By how much does it converge? And like, I don't really know what to do about it.
Yeah.
There are all these tests that allow us to test if it converges. But then more importantly, you deal with limits and stuff like that for the first time, which is the math that basically explains is there a way to describe why caring if a sequence converges, right? Caring if a sequence converges, why does that matter so much in our everyday life? Like
that's a good point.
And I feel like it ties a little bit to what you were actually trying to do in the summer, right? And a little bit with like the research you're trying to do. Because like I remember you talking about it. You want to maybe tell them a little bit about what you were working on over the summer?
In the summer, I was in a robotics lab, and I was looking at different kinds of robots. Basically, when a robot is trying to move somewhere, you have forward kinematics or inverse kinematics. Sorry, this is going to be pretty tangential.
Oh yeah, no, we got this.
Okay, so forward kinematics is I have a robot arm, and I'm going to specify different amounts of rotation in each joint.
Yeah.
And given that rotation and the length of each joint, you can solve for where the end effector or the hand of the robot ends up.
Okay.
Right? So it's like you're solving a map, or like you're following directions. You're like, okay, I put the first joint at 30 degrees, then the length of the link is 10 meters or whatever.
Yeah.
That's really large. Anyways.
It's a massive robot arm.
And then, so that's forward kinematics.
Yeah.
And inverse kinematics is you specify a point.
Yeah.
And then you say, what are the joint angles that can help my robot arm get to that point? And that's a much harder problem because there's, like, look, even like this, there's infinite amount of solutions that I can rotate my wrist and rotate my shoulder to get to this point. Right?
That makes, like, visually, that makes so much sense.
Yeah. So we were looking a lot at how complicated is it for a 3 degree of freedom, a 2 degree of freedom, even a 6 or 7 degree of freedom robot? Like, how can we compare the complexity between different DOF robots for solving that inverse kinematics?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just get that solution of like where, like how can I get the joints to actually move the perfect amount or rotate the perfect amount in order to grab that cookie jar or whatever the robot's trying to do. Yeah. In your case, what are the robots trying to do?
It was for something called visual servoing.
Okay.
Which is where the robot has a camera on it, or there's cameras set up, like the visual part. And then the camera projection is where we're actually solving these error equations to get the robot to converge to the desired location.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait. So, and what is that desired location?
It can be any point that you want.
Right, of course, yeah. Because robots, like, it doesn't need to be, like, the robot can just go anywhere, right?
It can be like you have an apple in the scene, and you put a little point on the apple, and then you tell the robot to
find that specific point,
apple.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so that's the world we're living in, right? This world of robots. And so now we were talking about functions converging and whether the solutions exist, right?
Yeah. It was actually really interesting because there is something called the spectral radius of a matrix.
Okay.
Basically, like if you have a matrix, which is like,
just like a rectangle with numbers in them, rows and columns of numbers representing information.
If you have a matrix and you have that matrix raised to an exponent, if you like as the exponent goes to infinity, does the matrix become a zero matrix? That means that you have a converging matrix.
Right.
Because each time, you can think of it as each time the numbers are getting smaller and smaller and smaller. It's like if you have a sequence of numbers and every time you half the number, that's a geometric series.
Yeah, it goes down
to zero.
It's like that graph going down.
Yeah. So yeah, you could look at something like that to see whether or not the problem was convergent. That's pretty interesting.
And when we say the problem is convergent in a more real life sense, what does that mean?
It means that the robot arm will converge to the spot you want.
Yes.
And not just oscillate
not just go around,
and not
right?
just go crazy.
So there's a math so now we're trying to connect the two worlds, right? We're trying to connect the real world, which is a robot trying to get somewhere. Is there a way for the robot to do that? Versus the mathematical world, which is a bunch of functions. Is there a way for those functions? Is
my matrix convergent?
Yeah. Is the matrix convergent? So the math problem of is my matrix convergent, which is a very theoretical problem, can be converted into a real life scenario where we're trying to decide if the robot can actually reach that location. Is that a fair way of putting it?
It's true.
It's perfect. And I learned something new because I actually didn't, like, I never connected the idea of matrices, because when I think of matrices, I think of linear algebra. I never necessarily connected that to like convergence. Like I've never convergence. I think of like calculus and like things changing, variables changing. When you mix the two worlds, it's like, okay, so it's not just one piece of information. It's a whole row of columns of information. All of those rows and columns need to somehow reach the desired value, which in this case is like all zeros, right?
Yeah, I would say it was also interesting for me to like learn that over the summer because like I wouldn't say that I have so much background knowledge in like CS or optimization or math at all.
Yeah, I mean you've just been doing it for like a year. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there you go.
So like learning those things for the first time, like I had kind of the same reaction. I was like, okay, like this is what a matrix is for.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And it was cool because like robotics is like a very visual thing, right? So I don't know, it almost feels like when they teach you math in school, you're like, oh, like, I don't know, like, is this even how they do it in the real world?
Yeah,
like,
there's always that one kid who's like, where am I ever going to use that, right?
Yeah, and like, obviously, as you get old, like, in junior high, you'd be like, why do I need to know my trig functions?
Yeah.
Like, obviously, now we're at a point where we understand, like, what is linear algebra for, but it was just a really cool way for like me to compute that.
I would say something like, well, we might understand what linear algebra is for, but not everybody in the audience would understand what linear algebra is for. They might, they won't. But I think more in a more general fashion, what was I getting at? The math. Actually, no. What were you talking about? Wait, there's a moment here.
This is where we cut out this is where you just do a little splice.
Okay. We'll do a splice at this point.
Why don't we switch gears?
What do you mean by switch gears?
Why did you go into math?
Wait, hey, I'm what? You can't do that. Okay. All right, that's fine. Why did I go into math? I went into math because someone told me to. No, I'm kidding. I went into math because there was always that part of me that really, really liked solving math problems. But I'll be more specific because like math problems is a very general thing. I didn't always like solving math problems where I didn't know how to do it, or there wasn't like this obvious like algorithmic approach on how to do it. I liked doing math problems where it's like 10 steps, but you know exactly what 10 steps there are to do. So it feels complicated, but like you understand what you're doing at every stage.
Have you heard that thing that people say, like the difference between complex and complicated?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't, but I get what you're getting at. But like maybe you want to explain like, what they mean by that.
This is just like a silly thing that my dad has said before.
Yeah.
And he like read it from a book or something, or picked it up from WeChat. I don't know.
Okay.
But complicated is just that there's a bunch of steps you need to follow, and like you need to read them to a T. It's very detailed and stuff. But there are the steps, right?
Yeah.
And then complex is it's a very like non-linear route, and you're not really sure like where to go. It's like the steps are not always clear.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I agree with that. Like there's something to be appreciated in complicated math where once you know the steps, you can just do it.
You can just do it.
You can just like pump out the calculations. But I feel like now, like as our degrees get more abstract, right?
Yeah.
And like you start dealing with letters and not numbers. Then,
I mean, no, that happened, but in high school too.
then it becomes like complex. Right?
Yeah. And I think I didn't necessarily know the difference between complicated and complex. Maybe going into university for the first time. I was this high school student. Everyone had told me, "Oh my God, Jacob's like good at math, and Jacob's comfortable doing math." And I always used to tell people I really like doing math because I love the feeling of just like when everyone's like, "Oh my God, this is so complicated." I'm like, I know how to do it. I just got to do step 1, step 2, step 3, and I'd be very good at remembering step 1, step 2, step 3, especially if I kept doing questions.
Yeah.
Right, kept doing questions, did a lot of practice, and then I'm like, "Oh my God, I meant to like keep this going." And of course, there was always a part of me that tried to like understand where things came from, but still on a purely like algebraic like arithmetic level, right? Like, oh, like this formula was derived from here. But then I didn't really know what was, I guess I went into university still being very naive. Like I didn't really know too much of what math actually felt like.
Well, yeah.
And maybe that's
everyone.
That's everyone. I feel like a lot of math students that come into this degree thinking it's gonna feel a certain way, and then they're like, wait, this is what real math is? Like,
yeah. And I think that goes for like everyone.
Yeah.
You know, like looking back on like me switching faculties.
Yeah.
It was very spontaneous. Like I hardly knew what programming or math even really was. I literally knew how to make a list in Python. And that's why I went into CS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then of course you learn and you realize that like, oh my God, it's complex. It is complex. Like they don't give you all these like really, I mean, sometimes you get like these problems where you have to do a lot of steps, like kind of like in high school, but then it's not really like that anymore. It kind of feels like the problems don't have a lot of steps, but you got to spend a lot of time thinking about the connection that you need to form between ideas. And that ability to think often makes you a richer problem solver, if that makes sense. Yeah. And that's the skill that mathematics as a whole tries to put forward in whoever goes about trying to do it. It sounds so general when I say it like that, but that journey is so stark. That journey is
stark. That's a good word. That's
a good word. Thank you. Like when you go into that first year of university and you're doing at least like the upper level math courses, or like I started out in honors math, and then I had to do a lot of proofs in my first few weeks, and I wasn't ready for that. And I was like, this is like, wait, so you're telling me like there isn't like an obvious like 5-step solution to solve the answer? Are you telling me like I need to like try things out, see if it works, see if it doesn't work?
Yeah, I know. That was
use
also
logic.
Interesting for me. I was like, why am I trial and erroring all these different methods to solve a problem.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like 3 years later I'm like suddenly so good at that. I'm still not good at it at all, and it's just like an eternal struggle to like be able to be good at that. But I'm highlighting the fact that the journey is so different from what you initially expect when you go into university, but it's equally, if not more, profound and meaningful, because you understand the structure behind it so much more, and how the math actually works. And that's the biggest thing that my university experience has taught me after all this time. And yeah, like
Beautiful.
Beautiful. I feel like I throw that word around a lot, but like I feel like people who know me knows that like I genuinely do find math very beautiful. And the question is, how do we convey it, right, like to the world? Like one day I want people to hear me be like, oh, like, you're a math major? I'm like, yeah, I'm a math major. Oh, I don't really know much about it.
Beautiful.
But it's beautiful. I understand why you do it. It is beautiful.
Wow.
And I look at that
what
person.
A dream. Sorry, go on. There's more to this fantasy.
Okay, there's not much more. But the point is, like,
no. You look at them and say what?
I look at them and I'm
in
like,
their eyes.
I look at them in their eyes and I'm like, you get it.
Oh.
Or whatever that means. I don't know. The point is there's so much hate. The subject has so much hate, and we're trying to go against that. We need more people who understand. I mean, a lot of people understand math. A lot of people are good at math, and there's no shortage of people like that in our degree, obviously, right? But
you want people to love math and find it beautiful.
Yeah, and also to like tell good stories about what they're working on. Tell good stories about the math, right? And so that people who aren't in it don't feel so alienated by like how complicated it can be at times.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, because definitely like right now I'm working in the Decima Robinson Support Center.
Yeah. Go there for math help at the U of A.
Go there for math help.
Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes like you can tell the students are really frustrated because they're like, oh, I hate math. I just want to finish this assignment.
Yeah.
And like you're working through the problem and they're like, just tell me the answer.
Yeah. Oh my God, everyone wants to know the answer.
Yeah, and like I totally like empathize with that feeling because it's so frustrating. You're being forced to do it, and maybe more often than not, you feel like the lecturer didn't give you enough information to solve it on your own, right? So you're like kind of drowning in it. Yeah, and I think that's why it's so important that things like the Decima Robinson Center exist.
Yeah.
And that's why, I don't know, you can like, there needs to be more space to take time to learn math and like more like I feel like the research that I did over the summer, even though fundamentally I'm like not super good at math, you know, it taught me so much, and like I feel like I learned to appreciate math because of it.
I'm glad you that experience did that, because I think that's the most important thing any experience should give you, the ability to appreciate that subject better, to make you appreciate it more. That's so good. That is really good. But yeah, this is the first instance of me trying out a podcast and seeing how people feel about it. But I hope to convey stories like this and to be able to talk to awesome people like Olivia over here, and to make the math community feel like a accessible place, like a place where communication is prioritized, stories are shared, on top of being able to learn about brilliant mathematics that exists in the world. But yeah, do you have any like last things you want to tell to my audience, if that exists? I hope there's somebody out here who watches this video.
No, I think that's a very good message. And I also feel like it's challenging for people in math to be able to tell accessible stories.
Yeah.
Like even for me right now, trying to like talk about math.
Yeah, like a matrix and a convergent sequence. Oh my God.
Like I feel like it goes to show that I don't understand the math well enough because I can't explain it in very simple terms.
Yeah. Right?
But like that's something that I want to get better at.
Something I want to get better at too. Yeah. And I hope through doing podcasts like this, we can both like gain that skill. At least like through like talking to more people, I can like gain that skill. Yeah. Because it's a skill that I really find important and very beautiful. Like whenever I meet someone and they're like able to talk about it well, I'm like, whoa, I get it. I get why you care about this, you know? But yeah, we'll leave it at that. I don't know. Should we do the closing music again?
Yeah.
Oh wait, the audio's down. What? Wait, this feels too opening. I feel like to close it would make sense, but
turn it off.
Turn it off. Okay.
Try a different one. Oh, never mind. A different one. This is perfect.
Okay. So nice and serene and calm.
You're walking through a forest.
Yeah.
There's nobody around.
There's nobody around.
Gasp. What was that?
And then stops at that exact moment. Okay. I don't know how we pulled that off, but yeah. Okay, that was something good. We'll leave it at that. All right. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.